Hey guys, it's Whitney again, and today we are going to be doing a look with the Smashbox Ablaze palette for $27. It's this guy right here, so if you are looking at getting this palette, I would say don't, but we're doing, since I already owned it, and I saw that they relaunched it again, then I wanted to do a look, and we used it with the Anastasia Beverly Hills Modern Renaissance palette. I'm trying to do different palettes, videos on different palettes that a lot of people don't do. But if you guys want to see how I got this look right here, then we'll go ahead and get into it. So the first shade we're going to dip into is going to be the shade Golden Ochre from the Modern Renaissance palette. And we are going to put that guy, it's going to be our first transition shade. And I'm going to take mine on a Morphe E27, just a very big blender brush. So I'm just going to barely dip that in there, because if you have this, you know what it is. And I really hate that for, what is it, $27 for these little eye shot palettes from Smashbox, that you can't even get a full eye look out of this one, because this one's honestly my favorite one out of all of them. So why can you not? And if you've watched any of my tutorials before, you know I always start my looks right here and put that down. And I already have a base down for my eyeshadow. I usually always use eyeshadow primer, but today I got so much concealer on it, I didn't want to risk putting an eyeshadow base on top of that concealer. For my next shade down, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up the shade, I'm going to mix together the shades Burnt Orange and Real Gar, whatever it's called. And I'm going to throw those directly underneath there. And the way my eyes are shaped, most of my color has to go on the top of my eye. Not so much on the eyelid, but the top. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this one directly underneath my brow bone. And then as soon as we're done with this, we're going to start on the eye shot palette. So what I'm doing is I'm just going back and forth every other dip into Burnt Orange and Real Gar from the Anastasia palette. I'm just working this guy in. And what I hate about putting concealer down on my eye is I have to set it with a powder, because normally I do not set my stuff with a powder. But I just don't feel like, I am one of those people that do not feel like a plain concealer works very well to do your eyeshadows with. So, and I'm just going to build up the sides right here and blend that in directly underneath the socket. I'm sorry, not the socket, the brow bone. Bring that down. And then as soon as we're done laying down the second colors, I'm going to dip into the Ablaze palette right here. And I'm going to pick up this orange shade, this guy right here, the only matte in the palette, and that is the shade Throwback. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that on a Morphe 573 brush, and I like this one because this is a very dark orange, you guys. And we're going to throw that directly into the crease. And the way my eye is shaped, like I said, I always start them right here, right in the corner, and then I work it down. And all I'm doing with this shade is I'm not going to wing him out. He's going to just go directly in the outline of my socket. So it's almost like a crescent moon is how mine's going to be. So we're just working that down, directly down in there. Blending, working. And this is probably the only white-haired brush from Morphe that I actually like. So I'm working. And then I'm just going to go in and do the exact same on the other eye. And then as soon as we have the orange color down in our crease, we are going to dip into the dark brown shade right here in the Ablaze palette called Dark Horse. And we're going to pack that only on the outer corner of our eye. If you have a similar eye shape as I do. Now, if you have a different eye shape than I do, you can pack yours however you need to make your eyeshadow look good. And where I have this shadow down here, that's going to knock out anything that is drugged down way too far, way too out. And what I do is I keep adding it if I need to. So what we're doing is we're just going to take our small little pencil brush. This is a Morphe E18. It came out of my Babes Faves Ava set. And I'm just going to start packing that one directly on the outside edge. And this is a pretty dark brown. So you're going to have to, you want to build it up just a little bit at a time because it is such a dark color. We're just doing this right here. And I'm going to do that on both of my eyes. After I've got the brown packed on the inner corner, what I'm going to do is the first shade that I'm going to dip into is going to be, I'm going to take the golden shade directly at the top called Relax. Then I'm going to pack that guy directly on my inner corners. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to dip into that, take a little bit of my MAC Fix Plus, spray that guy on there, knock off the excess, and I'm going to start packing that directly under the inner corners. Not the actual inner corners, but the shade on my actual eyelid, about a third of the way in, is where I'm going to pack this guy. And I'm just going to keep dipping in as I need. Then I'm going to start packing it onto this side, like such. Just dipping in there, getting it on the brush. Okay, and seeing how I got my shimmer just a little bit far up, what I want to do is I want to take the M573 I used to pack on the actual crease color. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to blend that away because I do not want any of the shimmer in my crease. And if you're using a palette that it gets really bad in, what you can do is you can put more of your matte color, your crease color on your brush, and then put it right back in there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this on my little Ulta shadow switching pan. I'm going to wipe off the bronze or this gold shade that I used, and the next shade that I'm going to dip into, I want to use the bright orange that's in this palette. So it's actually this color right here called Delirious. I lied, it's called Torch. And I'm going to use the exact same brush and start packing that guy on there. Get it real packed. Spray my brush again. I'm just going to pack that on this next third of my eye. So he's going to go right here. And you can cut your crease if you want, but I don't. This isn't a palette that I would cut my crease with. I like to save my crease cutting for, I don't know, like more in-depth eye looks, I guess you would say. So all we're doing is we're packing these both on both eyes, the both middle third of our eyes. Now that I have the orange on both of my eyes, for the last third of my eye, I'm going to pick up this really deep bronzy shade. This is Torch, and this one is Delirious. I was right the first time. So I'm going to take this on a Morphe 421. It's a small brush. I'm just going to pack that really deep shade on there, like such. Hit it with some MAC Fix Plus, like such. And then we're just going to start patting that on the outer corner of the eye. We're just going to finish off the rest of the eye look with this shade right here. And you might have to keep going back in a few times to dip in. I just prefer to use smaller packing brushes on the outer corners of my eyes because I can't see how I just got it in the crease really bad. I'll have to go back in once again with my crease brush and blend that out. But I'm just going to keep packing that. You know what I'm even going to do? I'm going to pick up my ring finger, dip in that shade, and pack him on because I want it to be just a little bit darker. Just like such. And I'm just going to go ahead and start out with my ring finger on this eye. Like that. And pack him on right here. And then I'm going to take the brush, dip back in the color, and finish off my second eye. Now that I have the entire eyelid done, I'm going to pick up this Morphe 213, just a very tiny brush, and I'm going to dip into this white shade up here, and I'm going to pack that guy directly underneath my brow. I'm going to knock my brush off some. I'm just going to pack that directly underneath the eyelid, because I don't like to put shimmer up there. That's just my own personal choice. If you do, you could put that bronze shade up there. but I just do not like to. And I'm also, when I'm done with that, I'm going to dip back into the gold shade. Or you know what? Let's take the pink shade right down here. Tap into him. The shade called Siesta. Sorry, guys. And I'm going to take that and I'm going to pack the pink shade in my inner corner. I cannot use that Smashbox palette, the mirror, and it's weird. And I'm just going to pack this guy right here. And look how pretty that looks. It's kind of dark, but I like it. And I also bring mine down just a little bit underneath the lower lash line. And where I'm doing this, and I normally don't, my eyes are creasing so bad from this powder. So now that we have that done, I'm going to go off camera, do my mascara, liner, lashes, and all that. And we'll finish my face when we'll be back to do the lower lash lines. We'll be back in just a minute. Now that I have the rest of my makeup done, guys, what I'm going to do is I'm going to dip into the color Golden Ochre, the first shade that we ever used. And I'm going to take that on a Morphe 433 brush. And I'm going to put that first on my bottom lash line. And the rule is the biggest brush with the lightest color, you're going to put the farthest down. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to trace that directly underneath the lash line like this, you guys. And just build that color up. And where I had to leave my bake on for so long, which I normally do not do, I'm going to bring this pretty far down to cover up all the creasing that my eyes did where I had to bake. And as soon as we have that down, I'm going to pull mine out some. As soon as I have that one down, I'm going to pick up a Morphe 436 brush, this one, and I'm going to go into the Ablaze palette. And I'm going to pick up the orange shade that we used in our crease. Right here, the shade Throwback. And I'm going to put that directly underneath my lashes. And this brush on this E36 is a pretty small pencil brush. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to dip directly into the tip of that, knock that off, and run it directly underneath the lash line. Like this. I'm going to pack that color on pretty dark because I really want it to show through. So we're just going to run him down. And I'm going to I want to connect it over here too, on the edge. I'm just running that down. I'm going to do that on both eyes. Well, if I can. The last thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up the brown shade all the way here on the end of the Blaze palette. Take that on a Morphe 432, just a little packing brush. I'm going to put that on there like such. And I'm not even going to knock it off because I'm going to pack this directly onto the lash line like this. I'm going to bring it over as far over to the corner as I possibly can. And I'm just going to bring this a little over halfway over on each eye. And somehow I had mascara transfer from on this eye, so it's already pretty dark down here on this one, so I probably shouldn't even do it on this guy, to be quite honest. So we're just packing this down on here. And now that I have both my eyes done, I'm going to go off camera, finish my mascara, my lower lash line, and I'll be right back. I just wanted to let everybody know, if you don't have the Bonnard Renaissance palette to use in conjunction with this guy. Also, I think that the Morphe 3502 palette, and I also have the Tarteist Pro palette, the big one from Tarte. Those shades have the similar oranges and browns to get this look. Like, the Tarteist Pro palette's almost basically has the exact same colors as this exact palette. Give me 1 second, I'll show you guys. Okay, so this is the Tarteist Pro palette, and on top is the Anastasia. You have the deep purple down here. They're not an exact dupe, but for the most part, they're pretty similar, if you guys can tell. So, but I think that or the M3502 would work perfectly with this palette. I wish that there was just one more transition shade in this guy right here. And for my honest review, I've had this since December. It came with the Smashbox Drawn In Decked Out. It came with 2 palettes and a highlighter. I think I paid $40 maybe for this, but these are $27 a piece. And for that price, you should be getting a transition color. But for my face, I just want to let you guys know that I use the Flower Beauty Light Illusion. And mine is in the shade Porcelain 1. And then I also use the NARS Paint Pot underneath my eye. And the Bare Minerals Serum Concealer. It's wet, very dewy. And then I use my MAC Fix Plus. And with the Flower Beauty Concealer, real good combination. I used it to help give a little bit more coverage. I use my Makeup Forever foundation stick. So, if you guys want to know, if you guys think of any other look you can do with this palette, just please let me know. And if y'all had a good time, please thumbs up this video, like it, and subscribe it. And I would love for you all to go back and watch the rest. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.